Welcome to the Monday Morning Wake Up Call with your host, Kerry, managing broker at Remax Elite, and Heather Holliday, your social marketing nut, talking about hottest real estate topics with a little weekly activity and motivation for the week. Oh, good morning and happy Monday.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I almost have all my screens ready except for one.
So close.
So close, I know, but we don't need a longer intro. So it's funny. We've got comments over the weekend about getting homework done.
I tried. I got everything set up, got everything organized, trying to get everything done. And then I would just get squirrel brained and kind of go off and do other things that I really wanted to do way more than what I was supposed to be doing. But yeah, that's the way it always is. I always get it done. It's one of my prerequisites to go to the convention, which is usually at the end of February. Last year it was later, but I have to finish all of this stuff for my accountant. So I'd have to do everything. That is my trip for succeeding in that. It's like my reward to myself. So it will get done.
So good. Yeah. That's it. Well, first, let's just say good morning, everybody, and let us know where you're tuning in from. Leave us some comments in the chat so we can see who's here and where you're from, and maybe we can make some connections with some people in different areas. That way, if you're looking to refer.
And we also have our homework.
Oh, nice. Perfect.
So we have a homework giveaway. Not as many. I started seeing them as like we're prepping, getting everything ready. I start seeing all these comments, but I put in here what I did see. And today is going to be a $25 Amazon gift card. So nice. I will reach out to you. I promise, because I still haven't reached out to Megan. Last week was a short week because I did go off into the mountains and enjoyed the last of fall, which was so beautiful.
Right. So you just need Megan to maybe shoot you an email or something with her address so you can get that book mailed.
I just have to do what I'm supposed to do and just reach out. Yes. All right. So Kelsey, one of the last ones. So Kelsey, I know how to find you.
All right. So we have Karen Mann, who was in Bimini over the weekend.
That sounded warm. I was definitely not in warm at all.
And so hopefully she got her homework done. But if she didn't, there's still time. It's never too late. And Melissa from North Atlanta. And actually, my family members are missing. They're not missing. Oh, my God. My family members are visiting from the Alpharetta area. So I think they brought the cold weather with them from Georgia when they got here.
It wasn't that bad. Actually, I was with my aunt and uncle, and they're in North Georgia too. So they came up for his birthday. She usually goes with me in the Jeep, and then decided to go ahead and have her husband join, and they rented a side-by-side. And then the Jeep that came up ended up losing their four-wheel drive module. So they didn't get to go in the Jeep. So she got to see what it was like to be in the elements with the rest of us instead of nice, cozy in the heat in the Jeep.
Right.
Oh, so that was pretty cool.
So anyway, as you were talking about getting your numbers done and getting your information done for taxes even. So this is kind of a twofold process that we're working on right now. One, to get us ready for, hey, Susan, to get us ready for 2022, we're looking at all of our expenses, which in doing that, you're going to be able to, and congratulations to the Braves. I actually was living in Atlanta when they won the World Series back in, I think
it was 95 or something?
94, 95, 96. I can't remember. It's one of those 3 years. think it was 90, maybe 94. I can't remember. But I went to their parade and everything back then. So, anyway, side note. But getting your expenses ready. So it's helping you for your business plan and it's helping you uh, for your accountant and getting ready to do taxes after the first of the year.
I mean,
So
and
it's
I almost guarantee you're going to find stuff that you found, in one of the groups or one of the conventions you were at of something, the latest and greatest, and you did it for a month and you completely forgot about it. So, I mean, that's really time to kind of write those down, whether you feel the need for it, you're using something else, go ahead and cancel those, save that money.
yep.
But I mean, for me, that's the biggest thing, and to see where I'm spending money. But it's really, when I do this, I save a ton of money because it's platforms I don't use anymore. I've replaced it with something else, or I mean, I'll save a ton of money, whether it's monthly, yearly, and I can allocate it into something else. So, that's for me, that's always the biggest part when I'm doing that expenses.
So
You
Peggy
didn't put the
asking me,
live sign up, did you?
I did, but Peggy's
Oh,
like, "Do you want coffee?" I'm like, "I
oh.
got it already." So, and then John is chiming in saying it was 1995 when the
That's
Braves
what I was
won.
like. I thought I saw that on the news.
Yeah,
Okay.
I remember it was when I remember I was living in my house, which I bought in 1994, and I remember I was with my friend Doria, who is actually from here. She went to Satellite High School, and we both moved to Atlanta around the same time. We actually met the day before I moved to Atlanta, and she moved to Atlanta 6 months later from here, and we've been friends ever since. But
That
anyway,
would have been a pretty big couple of years for Atlanta because I believe 96 was when they hosted the Olympics
and the Super Bowl.
and the
Or
Super
94
Bowl.
was 94 might I can't remember. The Super Bowl 96 was the Olympics and the Super Bowl might have been 94 or 96 or 90. It was in and around the same time. It was a lot of I just have to say it was a fun time to be in your 20s living in Atlanta.
I'm sure I can only imagine. I just remember because it was my first motorcycle trip. I didn't even have my actual license, and I'm driving. It's pouring rain, and I'm driving through Atlanta. Can't even see the car in front of me. I hate big cities. I don't even know what to do in them. Um, and it was absolutely horrible. And I said I would never do that again.
So nice. Susan
So
says it was
we would
96.
trailer from Gainesville up to like Amicalola Falls, and that's where we would, get the bikes out. I said I would never. That was the most stressful thing ever, and I still don't like driving through Atlanta.
Well, it's worse now. That's all we can say. I mean, definitely having the Super Bowl and the Olympics really, really boosted that city. It's to me, it's kind of unrecognizable to when I used to live there in the '90s, but still a beautiful place. Anyway, all right, back to the expenses.
See,
So
again, squirrel brain. Talk
I
about
know.
everything except for expenses.
So I went through. I didn't add it all up yet, but I have all of my transactions here that I've done so far, and I have my pendings, and I'm happy to say that I have every year as we get towards the end of the year I start to panic. Oh my gosh, am I going to meet my goal? And so this is me admitting that I don't always do the homework, and even though I teach this stuff, I don't always do what I'm supposed to do. So even though you're supposed to be keeping tabs on your production all year, um, I'm not always good at it. So I had Lisa print everything out, and I'm happy to say that I'm on track. I'm not going to do less business this year than I did last year, so that's always a good thing. And
I mean, these are really, I think this was part of the registration homework that you would
right,
have had downloaded, we uploaded and stuff like that. And this is just where we kind of break it down, simplify it to know like what is the business review as far as, what was your sales volume, what's your GCI, how many transactions you did, and how many appointments. I mean, that is important to keep track of the amount of appointments you go on so you know what that rate is, how many appointments you need. It's going to help you when you're planning out for the next year. And then knowing, that measure and tracking is to knowing where those sources are. How many listings did you do? How many buyers was that? How many of those were referrals? And just what are those top sources? Is it from, pay-per-click or Zillow or, word of mouth, your social. There's so many different avenues that we all work. And, we try to say, have 10 pillars to your business. When it comes to where that tracking, what pillar did those come from? Because that's
Right.
going to help us, next week when we're really diving to break everything down and plan everything out. What are your strengths, your weaknesses? What can you put more into? What can you take away from that's not working? Maybe change it up. So these are super important. So it's going through, this year currently, and that's where that printout comes in and really being able to trigger those, which I think we did that kind of week 1
Right.
or week 2. And then
Right. And
breaking down.
so, here's a funny little story that happened over the weekend. A customer of mine that I sold her house in 2011 called me over the weekend because she wants to buy a house. And it's funny because when she called, I still have her saved in my phone. And so, it came up. I was like, oh my goodness. And it was weird because I had been thinking about her recently. But I was thinking to myself, have I been sending her newsletters? Like, is she on my past client list or have I not? Have I been good at keeping in touch or haven't I? And if I haven't, shame on me, but thank goodness she called me. And if I have, then great. Obviously, it's working, So you're going to take your 2021 business, and then we always say for your future business, you need to make it, I don't know if the right word is an unattainable goal, but you need to make it a big goal. That's the whole point of it. You don't make it something easy that you can get. You need to make it something difficult so you're shooting for the stars.
I mean, I try to say double it, just and to me, it's about that mindset. So if you did X and then you double it, when we go and start doing that, the actual planning to obtain this doubled number, you're going to get in the mindset. You're going to think of agents that are doing what your goal is. What are they doing that's different than you, and what can you do to improve? What pillars are you going to be adding to your business to make this obtainable? And if you only get to a fraction of that, but you're, almost double, like that's insane and crazy. And oh my gosh, I never could have thought of that. But I just like to say double it. Why not? Because it's going to put you in a different mindset. And then you're going to put on what you're going to be doing next year. It'll be different than if you're just trying to do exactly the same.
Exactly. And I remember the first year, I think it was the first year we did the business planning. And I remember Kelsey, and I'm going to make up numbers because I'm not sure what the numbers were, but I'm just going to make them up. She's like, okay, well, I did 50,000 in GCI this year, so I'm going to shoot for 70. I'm making those numbers up. And we were like, you're not shooting for 70, you're shooting for 100. Like, what are you talking about? And it's not, and it's not to set you up for failure either. So it's not to say that if you don't make that goal, that you're a failure, but it's what you said. It's to get you in that mindset of that forward movement, that forward thinking, that how many phone calls do I need to make? How many connections do I need to make? How many people do I need to speak to? And if you are set up for a large goal, you're going to work towards that.
Right. I feel, to me, it's the whole mindset and what you're actually going to be doing, because you need to do, what others are doing that are in that area.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it's just the mindset.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah, I agree. And I, it's for me, when I look at year after year after year, if I look at where my business comes from, it really time and time again is referrals, sphere of influence, past clients. So that's what
you take your 2021, and now I would just say double it over to your 2022, and just kind of double all of those. When it comes to listing and buyers, that maybe you want to add a whole bunch more listings versus buyers, and maybe you want to up, double that referrals. I mean, that's really up to you. So just think about that. And, when it comes to the sources and stuff, that positive, you will always want a positive ROI on everything. What needs attention, what needs improvement. Maybe there's something that you need to cancel that you are doing, and all of that we'll be doing, next week, really diving deep into all of those different things. But it's really just double that so that when we start the planning segment, you have that. How are you going to achieve that? So
Right.
it's like going backwards. Like, here's my number, and then we're going to build that, that roadmap to success.
Right.
Is next week, which is probably my favorite part. I don't know. All of them are my favorites because every single one has an element that pretty much needs to be done.
Right. Right. So now you've doubled everything, doubling the amount of appointments, doubling the amount of transactions, or maybe you're not doubling the amount of transactions. Maybe because gross commissions are going up because home prices are going up, you don't need to do as many transactions right now, as opposed to when we're in a down market, you need to do more transactions because the purchase price is less. I mean, I think right now in Brevard County, we have a median price of something like $315,000 thereabout, which is, I mean, crazy for us, crazy.
That's
So,
good though.
oh yeah, it's great, So then we're just talking about focusing on having real estate conversations, having them with kind of anybody and everyone. And I was reading up on Quintavious, who's out of Mississippi, I believe. I can't even remember his last name right now. But he is with Remax in Mississippi, doing incredible business, crushing it, and now trying to help others. And he is just all about the conversations. I mean, he'll be at the grocery store and he'll have paid the cashier and have his buggy, and he'll help start bagging the guy behind him so that he can have a conversation about real estate. He is talking about it 24/7. So it's on the phone, it's texting, it's emailing, it's the note cards that we always talk about, it's social engagement, engaging with your real estate through social media. So not just making posts, but when people comment, you need to be there to comment back.
Yeah, it's like no one left behind. And I know, Katie Lance is amazing at that. You'll never have the last word when it comes to any conversation with her. She'll always have that last word because she's never going to let you say anything, and she's not coming right back. I don't care what platform you're on. And so many times people will have like a third party, kind of post something like this or that. And all these people are commenting and you don't see them replying to anything. And it's like, you have these companies do these third party these, engagement posts. And the whole point is to get people to make conversations, but you have to be there. You need to be present to engage,
to have those conversations.
That's where the magic is going to happen. So please, if you have a third party posting all this, or if you are, don't leave people hanging. Be right there. Make sure you have your notifications set up so that, if you have your business page and somebody comments, you want to be right there. It's kind of like walking, down the street, or you're at an event and somebody tries to spark up a conversation with you and you just completely walk past them and ignore them. Don't do that.
Right.
It's a pet peeve.
No, for sure. And so if you're not on your phone on social media all day because you're out with customers, set a time, 8:00 at night or 7:30 at night, just go through those posts and make sure you're re-engaging and commenting back. Make sure you're sending out newsletters. Make sure you're doing the personal video emails. I did one last week for our birthday breakfast, which we do once a month in November, once a month, every month for people's birthdays. And I sent a video last week, and let me just tell you, I looked a little crazy because it was one of those days where I wasn't seeing anybody. So there was no makeup, the hair wasn't done, but I needed to do it. And so I will say I'm thankfully over that fear of being seen live and in person, not looking my best. Oh goodness. So make sure you're doing all of those things, or at least you're doing the things that are, we always say, do the things that you like and you're good at, and then add in a few extra.
I feel that's where the magic happened, is when you take that step out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where the magic can really happen. And it's, it's progress, not perfection. And that was when I started getting into video, and it was really like forcing my hand to press that red button to record. I hated it. I hated every second of it. For me, it was just, wearing silly stuff, like dressing up, made myself more comfortable. But now I find that's when I do that kind of stuff and I find the worst thumbnail that I can for that video, I find people open it more. Like I just, the thumbnails on these videos.
Oh, right.
Horrible. Well, I find the worst one and that's what I use because I find people open it. Like, what the hell is she doing? So that's the one I use. And because to me, it's just funny. And I don't know. That way I don't want to take myself too seriously.
Right.
Apparently.
A lot of people like that. They can connect with that. It feels natural and normal and not, not like you're, the commentator on the evening
news. So polished.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know. To me, that's just my comfort zone. I don't care.
Yeah, for sure.
But yes, so have those real estate conversations and they can be anywhere. Anywhere. To me, that's where like wearing the badge or wearing, I call it, the branding and stuff like that. It just helps open up that conversation because I'm not out there. I know we go out to eat and, bionic ears. Here's a real estate conversation and they're right over there jumping right into that. And it's kind of crazy. Right. I'm, like an introvert. So I wait to be approached, which probably isn't the best thing, but that's, that's where social, I think, helps me.
Right. Right. For sure. For sure. And then online.
It's my biggest pet peeve right here. Biggest one.
Online profiles?
Yes. My biggest pet peeve.
Yeah.
And not just even your online profiles. It is your website. You have a website probably in your signature on your business cards. When is the last time you went to that URL or that domain? I find so many that they don't go anywhere. Maybe, wherever it was forwarded, you don't even use that anymore, or that was changed or something.
Yeah.
Make sure part of your homework is going to the website that's on all of your marketing to make sure it goes somewhere and look at what's being present.
And look at where it's going. Yeah, look at where it's going. And is that who and how you want to present yourself to others? Because I can guarantee you people are looking. I always say to people, whatever, if I give them what my reviews, I'll say, but if you want to find out more about me, just Google me. Just type in Kerry Ramage. I promise you, if you haven't Googled yourself, do it. If you type in Kerry Ramage, I'm showing up. And sometimes then I remember, oh, shoot, I didn't change the picture on this spot or that spot. Especially if you're, updating your photos often, which you should. You know what? And getting photos is so inexpensive. Goodness gracious of yourself. So you should be updating those. But make sure it's everywhere.
One, not just a selfie.
Yeah. And make sure it's updated everywhere. I just went on to, I have my CRS, certified residential specialist, and I hadn't updated the pictures there. So I do that. So it's even all of those things, all of your designations or all of your groups that you belong to where you have put a photo up there. Make sure there's consistency throughout for all the photos and make sure you look like your photo.
Even your MLS. That still is baffling to me where someone will, may have left a company, but they had an email associated with their previous company. They haven't changed their email address, which probably doesn't work anymore.
Right.
Put your actual email address. Make sure your website's there. Make sure your cell phone is on there because that is something that you are handing to the people you're showing, you're showing houses. You print them out, the MLS sheets. Your information's on the bottom of that. Make sure it's correct.
Yeah.
There's an updated photo and, it's just the little things, but sometimes, we just don't think about it.
Yeah. And if anybody out there is watching that isn't in real estate, this holds true for any industry you're in. Any industry Absolutely. You're in, make sure that and so many people keep a lot of stuff private, and I get that, but it's really easy to find people these days. It just says, I would just start with Google yourself,
Yeah, always try to go in Chrome incognito. You'll see it'll be different results. So when you Google yourself just on any platform, it knows like what your behaviors are and everything else. So that'll give you one result. Go to Chrome incognito, which is usually, those little dots. That's where it's not going to know all of your history and what you do and all of that. So that'll give you almost the results of kind of like a person that's never Googled you before.
Right,
So
right.
I try to do it the other ways. Also, brandyourself.com is a great resource. It's free. I mean, you can pay to do whatever, but it'll kind of give you a grade. It's going to say, is this you? Is this you? Is it positive? If not, it'll kind of look at your photos. It'll tell you you shouldn't be having, whether it's be cleavage or the solo cups, because we all know what goes in solo cups, shot glasses, all that. It'll kind of say you might want to stop doing so many photos with solo cups. It'll grade you. And I believe it even gives you tips on how to word your bio to make that SEO friendly, to make you more searchable. I've always had a big problem because Heather Holiday is a sword swallower freak show. So when you Google Heather Holiday, and I do it so you can see what I have to compete with. Google Academy loved using me as an example when I went to that. Everything for social handles is at Heather Swallows. So I have to compete with that because people think, well, that's not me. Obviously, it doesn't look like me. But if you didn't know me, you see Heather Holiday at Heather Swallows everywhere. And it's very hard to get even on that first page because she has a lot of videos. She's a sword swallower. She started in Coney Island. She's worldwide. She was even on MTV. So there's no way I can even compete with that. So and
that kind of leads us to Karen Mann's question, which is, do you think we should use the same profile pics for all websites? Now, I don't know what the real answer is. I can tell you, I went to a thing with Steve Black recently, and he said yes. He said you should use the same photo for everything so that people know when they're going from spot to spot to spot to spot that it's you. Which kind of makes
my personal Facebook and my personal Instagram are not, because it's more of my personal, but I don't sell real estate, so it's a little different.
Right.
But that's me more. It's still, it's not a bad shot. There's, but it is more personal. But I have a business and I have personal. So not everybody has that. If you only have the personal accounts, you probably should have.
Yeah, he said that your profile photo should be the same on everything you have, so that they can recognize the photo as you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and on my personal accounts, I don't care.
Right.
Like I don't.
Sure, because you're sure. But for us in real estate, you want people to be able to recognize you. I mean, at the same time, though, and this was my thought when he said it in the seminar I went to, Steve Black looks like Steve Black. I, on the other hand, have a different hairdo and a different hair color and a different thing. And I look at all these pictures of me and I'm like, oh my God, none of these look like
me.
What
color is my hair this month?
Yeah. So it's kind of hard to keep up. But I think, I think it's important that people are able to recognize you as you. And so that when they're searching you, they can tell oh yeah, that's Karen Mann. Oh yeah, that's Karen Mann, So yeah, he taught that it should be the same. I don't know if
my LinkedIn and all my business stuff, it has the same profile.
I don't know if
my Instagram, it's really just for me, like my personal photo album.
Right.
I don't really care.
Right.
I don't know, but I'm different, so that's just me.
Right. Yeah.
That's definitely something. And and as you're updating these profiles, because this is really big, make sure that everything, like on your Facebook and your Instagram, it is linked to your business page on your personal level, that somebody could go and works at or whatnot, or you have it tagged that, you're a realtor or whatever you do, and that your business page, if you have a business account, people should be able to go to your personal account and see that, and it's a hyperlink, and it'll go to the business page, because that's what you want to lead people for following and likes and whatnot. But make sure you're not a secret agent. I can tell you so many times, I have agents that will ask me if I know someone in this area. Well, I'm probably going to be around Facebook, and I can just search for them because I know them. If they don't have their email, their website, their business page, or phone number, and I have to actually try to search to find their information, I'm going on to the next person in that area to at least get, their business page, which will have everything about them that I can just send to that person. If you're going to make me search too hard, you're missing out. And I feel that's the same way with your profiles, whether it be social or just like what Kerry's saying, whether MLS, your designations, you're with Remax or whatever franchise you're with, if there's like a place, your office,
Yep.
they have an agent roster. Go look at it. What does it say about you?
Right.
I mean, are your
it's
social
funny.
on there? Is your website on there? Your bio? Like Google yourself. Make sure to go look at all of those and make notes and think of things that you can be doing to improve, because that'll work its way into next week. Are you using stories? Are you using highlights? Do you have emojis in your profile for like Instagram? I think I think they just look better than just plain text.
Right.
I mean,
Well, and
it was very childish, but
if you take the Katie Lance thing, that's almost one of the first things you do is she has you rewrite your Instagram profile and using emojis and what you are. It's funny because I looked at mine recently and I thought, I got to change this a little bit because my kids are older. And so I'm not doing the same things I was doing 3 years ago or whatever. There's something else I was going to say and I got sidetracked in my brain. Darn it. Oh, yeah. So I get a lot of Facebook friend requests and I'm looking at this person and I'm like, and look, and I don't want to say I'm friends with anybody, but I'm friends with almost anybody. So, but the crazy part is I look to see who this person is and why are they friending me? Do we have 200 friends in common? And why do we have 200 friends in common? And sometimes I look at these people who are friending me and there's no indication of who or what they do for a living or why all of, 250 of my friends would be friends with them. So I figure they have to have something to do with the real estate business. But if I can't find anything identifying in your profile that talks about what you do for a living or whatever, I'm not friending you.
And I can say the same thing with the groups, right? So we have the creative group and that one gets, I want to say 50 requests a day. And there's, 5 of us admins that are approving and blah, blah, blah. We ask you questions and it's just basically like, who are you? But I can tell you, not that many people will actually get in out of all of those until we have time to sit there and Google you or to find you to see if you can't answer the questions and you have nothing in your profile that says you're with, because those are Remax exclusive groups. It blows my mind. And then we'll get messages like, hey, I asked to be in there 2 hours ago or 2 days ago. It's like, did you answer the 3 or 4 questions we have?
Yeah.
And are you a secret agent? You probably, I actually, when I go to do my approvals or whatnot, I actually only answered all questions.
Yeah.
I don't even bother with the rest unless I have absolutely nothing else to do, which is never the case because, I'll find something else I want to do.
Right.
If you can't take the time to answer the 3 questions, what office are you with? Are you an agent or what? If you can't take, 30 seconds to answer 4 quick questions, well, then you're just going to have to wait for one of us to have absolutely nothing better to do than to go look for you to make sure you can get into the group.
Right.
But we hardly ever have 300 people in the queue waiting to get in. And it's just because they haven't
filled in the questions. Yeah. Or their profile.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing there's no balloon anywhere. There's nothing that says they're a realtor. There's nothing that says they're with Remax. Like, they're a secret agent. So you're just going to have to wait since you want to be a secret agent. So,
and even, in looking at the people who've commented, Maureen commented, good morning, ladies. And when she's got a thing around her photo, I think that's Remax, so that she's Remax, why are you out there not telling the world who you are and what you do, or reminding, even if you don't want to be friends with all of America, right? Maybe you're just you feel like your personal page is your personal page. You still want to remind your friends and family what you do.
Product placement. And I'll do a referral every month, having sold real estate since 2006. But because I have posts with that balloon,
yep,
I'll get referrals, and I just match make, and I'm totally fine with that. I don't post anything that I just listed or sold this. It's product placement. You'll see the balloon somewhere in a post. I'm at an event or whatever, branding, shirt, hat, whatever it may be. And it's just product placement. Don't be a secret agent.
Right. Right. So there you go. There's Maureen. And there's her thing around her photo. And well, and she's killing it in real estate. I think she just I think she just did platinum. Gosh, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I know she just posted. I know she just posted that she, reached one of her goals for this year the other day. So yeah. So the homework.
Dun, dun, dun. And it's easy. I want you to go through all of those go Google yourself. Go look at your profiles. I want you to make those enhancements. Go look at what your website says it is. Go look at it. If it's not working, feel free, send me a private message, whatever it is. I can try to help you, especially if you're with Remax. We can figure something out. Some of the URLs had changed, so sometimes it's not going where it needs to go. It's my biggest pet peeve. It's just something so simple that probably needs to be tweaked. Look at those online profiles and the photos. Go to brandyourself.com, and I'll put that in our little group. Let them grade you. See what's going on, and maybe take some advice on, rewording that bio. I was kind of surprised that a lot of it was kind of writing my bio in third person to add my name in my bio, which helps with that search engine. And that was, something Brand Yourself and the Google Academy had taught me, was because I'm competing against another Heather Holiday, I had finally got myself up on the first page. I'm somewhere there, but she's got a lot of videos, and video is king. I'm telling you. No,
video is
not wear lingerie on stage swallowing swords, but definitely
video is king. Yep.
And then start writing, use the note page, write notes on areas that you want to do. Maybe you see other profiles and the use of highlights and the stories. They're huge, huge, huge. You should be doing one every day, minimum. Yeah. As crazy, silly as it may be, you should be doing one every day. The visibility is ridiculous. And then using those highlights that we can do, all of that fun stuff. But, use that note page. What can you, as you're going through these profiles, what can we add in to really pump up what you're doing currently? What do you want to, what changes you want to make? So that's your homework. I would love a screenshot of maybe your Instagram or Facebook profile. You want to post it in the group or whatnot, and make sure to tag us, tag the Elevate 2022 for that post, or post it in the group. I would love to see a screenshot of maybe your best, or just one of your, I like the Instagram because then I can see if you're using the highlights.
I guess I need to learn how to do that. Project for Lee.
I'm sure I have highlights somewhere, like from Canva, that we can upload if you want to change. I like to change what my highlights look like. And that's super easy. Canva has a template. You can change the colors and whatever icons you want. To me, that just looks pretty.
Oh, okay. That's what I'll be doing this week. I'll be doing that as well, everyone, because
you're not doing that?
No. Nope. I feel like I've become my mother. I don't need to learn how to do that.
Pretty cool. But
and just in like 1978, we were like the first people on our block to have a VCR, and my mother was like, I don't need to learn how to do that. Like thinking, this is a short-lived thing, fast forward, what year are we in now? Like, yeah, you probably should have learned how to use that remote on how to pause.
That was like my first broker with the internet.
Yeah, exactly.
No, we'll keep the toggle switch. No one's going to ever buy anything online.
I believe that broker called me recently because the Supra key, the key, as opposed to having the app on your phone, is being done away with. And she called me because she knows I'm on the board and we know each other, to tell me that this is the biggest mistake and how could we be doing that? And people don't want to put it on their phone and on and on and on. And I said, unfortunately, it has nothing to do with us. It has to do with the technology. Those little keys run off of 2G, and 2G is now obsolete.
Right.
So you're going to have to use your phone.
Because I have
I should remind her next time I talk to her about the toggle switch.
The toggle switch. And people
Yeah.
would call, your fax is busy. I'm like, oh, gotta get offline. Oh, those were the days. Those were the days. All right.
Right?
Well, so that is
Okay.
your homework. We can't wait to see what you guys do. And of course, if you have any questions, go in the group, ask away. I'm here to help, especially this is like my area of expertise, but ask away. Happy to help. And until next week, wake up, kick ass, and repeat. See you guys.